It's that time of the week again. We are back with Ride Time Radio. You're listening to Adam from EasyRiderTenerife.com. I have got a show lined up for you this week. If you love guitars, if you love heavy metal, rock music, blues, I have got all of it on this week's show.
You never leave alone. I can see you never learn. When you're playing with fire, you get your fingers burned. There ain't no use in crying, baby, don't delay. You can call your doctor, I'll be there right away. I'm the medicine man, your doctor of love. Medicine man, doctor of love. When there's a feeling inside that just can't be denied, I will be your medicine man. Now don't you ever worry if you feel the fever rise. You never fool nobody when there's fire in your eyes. There ain't no use denying when you need it deep inside. You got your witch doctor to keep you satisfied. I'm the medicine man, your doctor of love. Medicine man, doctor of love. When there's a feeling inside that just can't be denied, I will be your medicine man. Yeah. You never leave alone. I can see you never learn. When you're playing with fire, you get your fingers burned. Ain't no use in crying, baby, don't delay. You can call your doctor, I'll be there right away. I'm the medicine man, your doctor of love. Medicine man, doctor of love. When there's a feeling inside that just can't be denied, I will be your medicine man, doctor of love. I'm medicine man, doctor of love. When there's a feeling inside that just can't be denied, I will be your medicine man, your doctor of love. Your medicine man, baby, doctor of love. When there's a feeling inside that just can't be denied, I will be your medicine man. Medicine man.
I love a bit of Whitesnake. I've been digging that out for the last few weeks. I knew I'd got a collection of Whitesnake albums somewhere, but I couldn't quite find it. So anyway, found them. That's off the Love Hunter album, 1979, sang by, of course, David Coverdale. He is an amazing singer. Always loved him. He was the original, he took over from the original singer in Deep Purple. Ian Gillan was, of course, the first singer there. David Coverdale, a Yorkshire boy. He's now dual citizen in the USA, but he's one of my favourite rock and blues singers. Now, another great artist, Walter Trout, Money Rules, off the Blues from the Modern Days album. Take a listen to this.
Corporations are people too.
Money rules the world. Yeah, well, probably agree with that. Pretty close to oxygen, isn't it? Right, who we got up next? Well, of course, we're going to listen to... Can you get it? No, you won't, because that is the sound of Michael Schenker Group. Now, that's going way, way back. Of course, his brother's in the Scorpions. He played in the Scorpions for a while. This is off the MSG album, Armed and Ready. So, all the bands I've picked this week and all the tracks, in my opinion, now this is my opinion, all right? I know everyone gets on their high horses when people have opinions, but this is my opinion. They are some of the best guitarists and rock bands in the world. I'm talking the world, right? Now, I've got a fantastic weekend, next weekend coming. If you're over in Tenerife, we've got bikes for hire if you want to join the event. It is, of course, the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. We are having our own little party rolled into the whole day. So it's going to start down in Cabo Blanco at the gasoline area, which is the BP garage on the main drag. We're going to meet there at about 10 o'clock for caffeine and gasoline. We are going to foot the bill for the caffeine, okay? You got to buy your own gasoline, of course. We ain't that nice. Right, so once we've got gassed up, Then we're going to hit the road. We're leaving at 11 a.m. sharp. No stragglers, please. If you're not there at 11, you're not going to be with us. You'll have to catch us up on the motorway. It is one road, TF1, all the way into Santa Cruz. We're not going to hit the twisties this time. We're going to take it nice and easy. The reason being, of course, with the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, everybody is kind of dressed up in their gear. You've got your fancy moustaches on. I've already got one. You've got your fancy beards done. I've already got one. Courtesy of Fabric, of course. But, yeah, you're going to have all that gear on. We're probably not going to want to go hitting it hard round bends and twisty roads because you're not going to be dressed for it. So I'm going to keep it very clean. I'm going to take us down the TF1. We're going to come into Santa Cruz, where we will have an urban ride around Santa Cruz back to their event. I believe they've got some stalls, they've got music, they've got food, they've got a raffle. So they've got a lot of fun things going on. We're going to hit that for about 4 hours, 5 hours. We must be back in El Medano for 6 p.m. And I'm going to tell you why after this. So, Joe Bonamassa there, right? We talked about him before as well in a previous show. One of my favourite blues guitarists. In my opinion, the guy's a legend, right? And his album there, Dusk Bowl, take a listen to it if you can. It's a fantastic album, and his guitar work is amazing. Now, Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. After we've done the run, we're going to head back to El Medano. We go into the new, now hear me, the new Rock and Hops. Brian from Rock and Hops, good friend of mine. He has a great theme bar. It's kind of a biker burger beer. Mainly specialises in craft ales from all over the world. And I mean, where he gets some of those beers from, I have no idea. He has everything. If it's not on draft, it's in the fridge. He's also looking at making his own beer, and he does now brew and sell his own beer. So we're going to have a craft beer festival. We're going to have live music.
Wow.
And we're going to have that off a nice heavy metal band who I love. And you're going to have to listen a little bit more to find out who that is too. So, the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, I believe it's called. They're a punk band, really. But I do like the grungy sound of the guitars and the fast kind of attitude of the track. And the band, you know, you get that with the punk bands. I do like their attitude. Used to like the girls even more when I used to knock about the nightclubs in my early days, but I'm a married man now. I don't do things like that. Well, I do knock about in nightclubs causing trouble, but I don't do anything else. Well, sort of. Anyway, right, so moving on. So we're down at Rock and Hops. Imagine the day now. We've all finished. We've got the bikes parked outside. He's got his new venue. It's not the one in the shopping centre. This venue is his new venue. You will have to go on Facebook to get the directions or the exact pinpoint the location. But Rock and Hops themselves will be putting out plenty of marketing, so look out for it on Instagram, look out for it on Facebook. We have got the very, very best heavy metal band in Tenerife that I've ever seen. We have got the amazing sounds of Soundchaser. Yes, I'm going to repeat it. Soundchaser. Marcus on guitar. He has a new lineup. They've been playing the circuit for a bit now, but he still has that amazing sound. He has, in my opinion, he's a very, very accomplished musician. He's been all over the world playing. He's come back to Tenerife to really kick some ass down here, and I'm so pleased because my young boys grew up listening to Soundchaser, and my new young boy, 7 years old, Jackson, big shout out to you, son. He is now growing up listening to Soundchaser as well. They are the very, very best. Come down and join the party at Rock and Hops from 6 p.m. on the 22nd of May. Everybody is welcome. So, who played the guitar in Motorhead? Anybody tell me? Well, they had a few guitarists. The main guitarist was, of course, Wurzel. Unfortunately, he passed in 1995, and then he was replaced by Wizzo, and his name was, if I don't remember right, I think it was Phil Taylor was his name, was his real name. But Wizzo then replaced it and played through till 2015 until Lemmy passed away, and of course that was the end of Motorhead. But I mean, the legacy that they've left behind is absolutely amazing. Lemmy is a rock god. I don't think there's anybody in the world who could argue that point. Next up, Scorpions, Big City Nights. love the sound of the Scorpions. Listen to them. I think I said in the last show, listen to them in the 80s. They were fantastic. One of my favourite albums. They have an amazing live sound as well. And, one of my favourite bands. Another band coming up. You can probably hear that in the background. Now, before we move on to them, let's talk a little bit about EasyRiderTenerife.com. What have we been doing? Well, as usual, we've had a lot of bikes out on rental this week. We have been looking after Hector. Big horn, please. Hector took out the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. Took that out with his girlfriend, went up the mountains. He's been living here for a few years, originally from Madrid. He went up the mountain, took the TF28. Now, I go on about that road a lot, the TF28. It's not for every type of bike, but it is for the Interceptors. The Royal Enfield, the little cafe racer, the GT Continental, the MotoGuzzis, the 750 and the 850. That is the road to take if you come over on those bikes, because it is such a beautiful landscape, scenery that you go through. You are often at a high level, but not too high. You're following the coast. You go through some lovely little villages of Weimar. You go through the Upper Candelaria. It's absolutely fantastic. And if you want a route, then that is the one you can take. Now, you go onto the website, you find routes and rides on EasyRiderTenerife.com, and you can find our section on some of the very, very best routes on the island of Tenerife for two wheels. Well, I've been playing it with it for years. I tell you now. But the world is a very strange place. Here's another great guitar tune. Of course, we've got Slash playing the lead. This is Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine.
do we go now? Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go? Oh, where do we go now? Where do we go? Where do we go now? Where do we go now?
Now, it is a bit of a sad weekend this weekend. Now, I don't know if you follow Freddie Dobbs. He's a nice young lad. He's a motorcycle maniac. He loves two wheels. He's been over in Tenerife for about 8 months and he's covered a lot of businesses. And I'm sure all of those businesses, together with me, would like to say thank you very much, Freddie, for showing Tenerife what it really is. It's not full of pissheads. It's actually full of paradise. And Freddie Dobbs did a fantastic job of showing that off. He's travelled up roads in Tenerife I've never dreamed of going down on two wheels, I'll be honest with you. But he's done it on his Bonneville. He's covered a lot of my business, which I'm very thankful for. I'm sure that Adam from Tenerife on Triumph, I'm sure that Masky Motors, who he covered in his latest video, and he's give them a big shout out as well. I'm sure they're very grateful too. And I would like to say, Freddie, on behalf of Tenerife, thank you very much for showing the motorcycle world what a beautiful place this is to ride.
I wonder what the wave meant. White heat is screaming in the jungle. Complete the motion if you stumble. Go ask the dust for any answers. Come back strong with 50 belly dancers. The world I love, the tears I try to be part of the wave. Can't stop. Ever wonder if it's all for you? The world I love, the trains I hop to be part of the wave. Can't stop. Come and tell me when it's time to. Sweetheart is bleeding in the snow cone. So smart, she's leading me to ozone. Music, the great communicator. Used two sticks to make it in the nature. I'll get you into penetration. The gender of a generation. The birth of every other nation. Look your way, the gold of meditation. This chapter's gonna be a close one. Smoke rings, I know you're gonna blow one. All on a spaceship persevering. Use my hands for everything but steering. Can't stop the spirits when they need you. Mob tops are happy when they feed you. J-butterflies in the treetop. Birds that blow the meaning in the bebop. The world I love, the tears I just to be part of the wave. Can't stop. Ever wonder if it's all for you? The world I love, the trains I hop to be part of the wave. Can't stop. Come and tell me when it's time to. Wait a minute, I'm passing out, win or lose, just like you. Far more shocking than anything I ever knew. How about you? 10 more reasons why I need somebody new, just like you. Far more shocking than anything I ever knew. Right on cue. Can't stop, addicted to the shindig. Chop top, he says I'm gonna win big. Choose not a life of imitation. Distant us into the reservation. Defunct the pistol that you pay for. Dispunk the feeling that you stay for. In time I want to be your best friend. Eastside love is living on the west
intimidate her. Can't stop the gods from engineering. Feel no need for any interfering. Your image in the dictionary. This life is more than ordinary. Can I get you maybe even 3 of these? Coming from a space to teach you of the Pleiades. Can't stop the spirits when they need you. This life is more than just a read-through.
Now then, we're talking about guitars, rock music, heavy metal. We're saying that this show is the show that I'm going to have all the... Well, I couldn't do it then without a bit of smoke, could I? This, of course, was recorded by Deep Purple. It actually was recorded on the way to the recording studio, and as they looked across the pond, the story was that the place was actually burning down, burning to the ground. And they wrote this because they needed a track to finish the album. So this was actually speed written. This is just, we need a track. What are we going to write about? Oh, look, the recording studio is burning down. Let's write about that. Fair enough. You know, I suppose I'd have done the same thing. Unfortunately, everybody, that is the end of the show. We're going to play out with the bells of St. Paul's Cathedral. It is the end of the show, but it's not the bells of Paul's Cathedral. It is actually the sound of one of my very favourite bands, who I could never, ever do a show with without putting these guys on. ACDC, Hell's Bells. Before I go, I just want to say big shout to all the customers, big shout to all the followers, listeners. We've got listeners in Russia now. We've got listeners in Canada now. The podcast is growing. The Ride Time radio show is live, and we are on air, and we are kicking it, yeah? This is for bikers who want to put some earbuds in. You want to get out on the bike on a Sunday morning, you want to go and rip it, and you don't want to mess about trying to find playlists. Let me find the playlists. You worry about gripping the tarmac. That's what this show's about. This is EasyRiderTenerife.com. You are listening to Adam. I'm going to salute you, leave you with the sounds of the very, very best band in the world, ACDC. Have a fantastic week, everybody. I look forward to more next week.